Welcome to Talkin' Bengals, your home for innovative insights into all things Bengals. Follow Talkin' Bengals on Facebook and Instagram at Talkin' Bengals or listen on your preferred podcast app. Now, let's start talking.
Hello and welcome into Talking Bengals. Tonight we will be one host short as Bernsey has other things to do or he just doesn't like us anymore, but I am joined by two cool guys. Hoop, how we doing?
Doing all right. Who day, baby?
Josh, how are you doing?
Who day?
Who day indeed, as the Bengals come up with another huge 20-point victory on this one. And it was first half was a little bit wonky. Bengals jumped out to a lead on some fantastic plays we're going to jump into. Then the Colts came roaring back with a penalty-assisted drive that got them a touchdown, and then just crap happens kind of pick six. So very exciting first half, but then it was all Bengals in the second half. Josh, what were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I thought it was a beautiful game. Great game plan. That's the biggest thing. They actually went in there with a game plan of running the ball, and it was effective. They stuck to it, and it helped the passing game. And it made Jake Browning more comfortable because he knew that the defense was going to let him pass it more because they were going to be afraid of the run, especially the speed of Chase Brown. He is a monster. When you actually gave him a chance, finally 2 weeks in a row they gave him a chance, and he exploded. And it was just beautiful to see, but I'll let you go now, Hoop.
Yeah, don't get too far into the explosion part. So that's still PG. All right, Shrek says worse than that, and it's still PG. But anyways, yeah, I mean, what a great game. I mean, sticking to the game plan, keeping balance on the offense. I mean, I know I've at least been saying it all year long. I said it last year, the year before that. You know, we need to continue with a balanced offense. Especially with Joe Burrow and the way he likes that five, you know, with the 5-man protection there. He wants an extra receiver out there, an extra target. Understandably so, but it also leaves room for the blocking. And I think, you know, definitely covering that a little bit later on in the show, you know, kind of circling back into the differences between the blocking schemes and the, you know, Jake Browning's success so far this year. Casey, what do you think about this week?
It was fun to watch. This is the second game in a row that being a football fan has just been fun. They're getting to enjoy it. It's a good game. It's not just an ugly slugfest of two teams that are kind of stagnant like the Pittsburgh game was. Yeah, even if you'd have won the Pittsburgh game, it has still not been a fun game to watch. It was just not good football. But these two have been good football games. And you got to talk about the screen game. For years and years, the Bengals sucked at screens. There's no other way to say it. It was like, oh, here's a screen and lost 5 yards. Here's another screen and lost 10 yards. You literally have a screen game that's working. You have linemen who are getting out in front of it. And that's why I was watching the game and talking to, you know, my wife about it. And I was like, yeah, when you have 200-300-pound guys running down the field, crushing, you know, 180 to 200-pound guys, you can't really get stopped there. They're going to run right over you, and it's going to be ugly. So the screen game is huge. Chase Brown, how did this guy slip so far in the draft? I mean, I know running backs have no value, and he's from Illinois. But, wow, he is fast. I did not realize he was that fast. To, like, have what Hoop said, the second fastest recorded speed this year, 22.05. That's cooking. That is just absolutely cooking. And then the juke move he put on the guy at the end is like, oh, that's embarrassing.
Dude, Tim out of his shoes, man. That was awesome.
Oh, I mean, that guy probably just felt bad about himself after the play. Like, man, how the heck did I let that happen on TV? Everybody's going to see it over and over and over again for the rest of my career. I really hope his friends picked on him a little bit for that one because I know you guys will give me crap if I whiffed like that. Goodness. All right. So Chase Brown
out of that end zone. He was getting in that end zone no matter what.
Yeah, so we need the old Chris Berman, the whoop sound for that one because he's right by him.
I think he actually did that on Monday night during halftime.
Oh, he did? I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was during the ESPN halftime, not the what was the other game? The NFC game.
It was the
NFC game. He was doing it.
2 Monday night games is too much.
The Eagles and Dallas Cowboys. That's what it was. Eagles and Cowboys. He did it during halftime for them.
All right. So what do y'all think about Chase Brown? Nick, I'll let you start first.
First of all, wow. Like you were saying, just wow. I did bring up before we started the podcast here, second fastest recorded speed in the NFL this year. Of course, you wouldn't be surprised who he was second behind, Tyreek Hill. So, I mean, the guy runs like a rabbit. The guy is just so fast. But anyways, I mean, similar to Tyreek Hill, Chase Brown, he's small, compact. He can run, north and south on the football field, obviously extremely fast, but also side to side. Doing the juke move like what you saw on the touchdown screen pass there. Just amazing. I mean, the amount of skill that Chase Brown shows each and every game that he's played these past few weeks has been absolutely amazing. The football knowledge, the high IQ running, when he gets into traffic, picking his feet up. You'll see Joe Mixon kind of scooting his feet during in high traffic areas. You see him get tripped up a lot. Chase Brown does not. And a lot of that comes with the style running that they came from through college. The difference between Oklahoma and Illinois and their running styles. But Chase Brown falling so far in the draft, I don't know how that happened. We got lucky picking him up. I think that we continue to use him. I know whoever our announcers were Sunday, they were talking about comparing him to like a Gio or, and having that second running back to Mixon. And to be honest with you, I think Mixon should be second to him. Mixon's getting to be like a Gio when Mixon came in. And I think that would be a good idea to have that, that Mixon running style, straightforward with the explosive running style that Chase Brown has on the first and second downs. If you're going to have him in the game, and you need that explosive run. Those 10+ yard runs are huge. It takes a lot of pressure off your line. It takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback. It allows for easier blocking schemes when you're passing the ball because you always have to guard against that run, especially when you have an explosive runner like Chase Brown. So I know I kind of went on a little long-winded there, but I just love seeing a guy who can run like that. It makes your job as a lineman so much easier. Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, his vision, it just seems like it's top-notch. He knows where the defenders are going to be. I mean, I even saw that last week with his 8 carries, or it was 9 carries for 61 yards. It just seemed like his vision was exactly where it needed to be. He knew where the defender was coming from, and he was able to elude that guy, whether it be a juke, whether it be a hurdle, just whatever he had to do to get away from him. He was not going to let this guy, one defender, take him down. And that showed on the touchdown. There was not a person on the planet that was going to keep him from getting that first touchdown. And that's where that speed came from. I guarantee it, just the thought in his head was, holy crap, I'm going to get my first touchdown, and this is a huge touchdown. There's not a person that's going to keep me out of this end zone. And I think you kind of see it in his face. He was giddy with excitement. He just seems like he's got – I think it kind of reminds me of I guess it would be the Cowboys from last year when they had Pollard and they had Ezekiel Elliott together. Elliott was more of a bruising running back, straight north-south running back, and then Pollard was the explosive guy. He would go, toward the sidelines, and he'd get the big plays. And it seems like Chase Brown is more of the Pollard kind of running back, but maybe just a little bit more explosive. I love the guy. I've been wanting to see him all year actually get a chance. When I was watching the highlights from the draft, like, holy crap, this guy could be a real solid running back. So I'm excited to see what this next week brings. I feel like the The defense that he's going to face this coming Sunday is going to be a little bit more difficult to run on. But I think so far the coaching staff has come up with a way to keep him involved and keep him active. And then it's just going to be on the players to make the plays when it happens. And I think he seems like he's getting his confidence and he's going to be up for it. So go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to harbor off of what y'all are saying here. Yes, the offensive line loves it when a running back is doing well. They love it so much that they gave up 0 sacks for the first time in 42 games. That is incredible. But yeah, when you're not lining up in the shotgun every single play, and the Bengals are still a run or a pass primary offense. That's still, if you look at the spread, when it's a 50-50 call, not a situation where it's either running play dominant or pass play dominant, obvious situation like a 3rd and 15 or anything like that. They still pass the ball more than they run it. But lining up under center just has a different psychological effect on a defense. They think you're more prone to run the ball there as opposed to a shotgun where they feel like they have more time to react if you do decide to run the ball. So I don't know what's going to change with Burrow next year, if he's going to be more willing to go under center than he was. But I feel like when they line up under center, and yes, Jake Browning is awesome, but he is not Joe Burrow. Those are still 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different skill sets. So you can't compare apples to oranges. He's doing great. I hope he continues to do so. But that's something that we got to look at is lining up under center. You're using the offensive line the way it can be used. You're making it play at its best possible level. So can we keep doing that? Because earlier this year, not even that long ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we were talking about how much trash the offensive line was. And we're all after Frank Pollock's job, but now they look like a great offensive line. So is that just the play calls that are coming in? Is that the fact that they're going under center more? I don't know exactly what it is, but whatever it is, we need to keep it up. You've got to make this adjustment and keep it going, because if you could have had a healthy Burrow all year or put Jake Browning in at the beginning of the season when Burrow was struggling, maybe you could have figured all this out, or maybe the team could have played better if you did this way. I know I'm just pontificating and second guessing and thinking, but next year is going to be a hard year again, because you got the division's going to keep getting better, the conference is going to keep getting better, and you can't use a big part of your offense is the line. Without the line, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter who you have. You got to use the line the right way.
Yeah, I kind of want to add on that, Casey.
Yeah.
I kind of want to add on that. Speaking, I played offensive line in high school, but obviously no comparison to the NFL or even college. Even playing on like a D3 or NAIA smaller school kind of aspect there. But even in high school, when you have a run-heavy offense, it makes it hard knowing that your running back is going to go wherever your running back goes. The defense is going to follow. They're already crashing wherever the running back is going, especially when you have a good defense that you're playing across. But when you have a balanced offense like what the Bengals have been doing for the past couple weeks, it really makes that offensive line's job so much easier. Because you don't know the defense doesn't know what's going to happen. I mean, you very well could run the play action, fire out, one step and hit them, and then just go into the pass blocking. And it allows your pass blocking to be a little bit more efficient because you're knocking them off balance, and you give your quarterback that extra second and a half. And that's the difference between the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. A couple of years ago, Bengals in the Super Bowl, that allows that second and a half, and giving that extra second there is the difference between Burrow having to scramble out, and throwing a terrible ball down to Jamar Chase, who had a pass interference that didn't get called on him. But bygones be bygones. We'll let Patrick Mahomes
keep crushing our soul. It's fine. Yeah, just keep crushing
we'll let Patrick Mahomes be the baby this week, because that was if that wasn't called, then the refs would have then everybody would have known that everybody would have known that the NFL was definitely rigged.
Well, we're going to get into that a little bit later too, so let's not give it all away yet.
But I think that I kind of want to explore the whole fact that Jake Browning's success and everything. And honestly, And it all comes down to that offensive line success. And that comes down to the balanced offense that we've been running the past couple weeks, where we have been running the ball more efficiently. We have opened up the run game, which opens up the passing game. Also, it relieves the pressure from the offensive line when you are able to run that efficient play action pass, or those screens where the defense is like, oh my gosh, I finally got by him. I'm going to go get the quarterback. Well, guess what? Now you got Chase Brown or Joe Mixon or Sample or Hudson, anybody as the screen. And now you're 20, 30 yards down the field because, well, guess what? You just took 5 guys out on a pass rush. And now you have, 9 guys blocking down the field. So, I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference maker in the ball game is how on offense can you make the offensive line's job easier? And it's simply just having a balanced offense, even if it's still pass heavy. Even if it's still pass heavy, keep it a balance. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Looks like Casey's having some connectivity issues. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and continue. I mean, I think you have to have some sort of balance. And I think actually it sucks to say as a Bengals fan, but Burrow getting hurt is probably the best thing that could have happened for this coaching staff, because now they actually get to coach instead of just put the ball in Burrow's hands and expect him to make a big play. They have to actually do their jobs, and it seems like they actually know what they're doing. We all criticize them, saying that, they have no idea what they're doing. Their play call is horrible, vanilla, just junk. But it seems like they're actually doing a good job. They're calling the plays that need to be called at the times they need to be called. So I think that's helped Browning. They haven't just been throwing him to the wolves and saying, here, figure it out, kid. They've eased him into games, and when he got comfortable, he showed that he actually can ball. He can play some real football. So, I'm really excited to see what happens Sunday.
I mean, I think a lot of, everybody's, we should do Jake Browning next year if he's able to take us deep in the playoffs. I'm sorry, okay? Joe Burrow is a different kind of quarterback, right? He's just different. And when you're having a 6-man protection instead of the 5-man protection, that's a totally different protection scheme that, you're essentially going to screw over your offensive line and say, hey, you have 5 guys to block 6 pass rushers, and that's all the defense has to do is rush 6. And next thing you know, Joe Burrow's getting sacked. And, having that 6th protector back there, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Joe Burrow's not, Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow's not Patrick Mahomes. I hate saying that, but Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. And I think in his own aspect, he's in his own respect, Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is the best all-around quarterback in the league. I would take Joe Burrow over any of the other quarterbacks in the league at this moment, at any given point in time. Him obviously not injured, but fully healthy Joe Burrow, I take Burrow all day, every day. And all I think that would help Joe Burrow right now, when he gets healthy for next year, just adding that 6th man for protection. I think that we have obviously proven in these past few games that 6th man for the protection there makes a huge difference in the amount of time that you have to get the ball off. Casey, now that your internet's finally working, you're not stealing it from Walmart or any of the local fast food restaurants, are you?
Well, I'm stealing it from this wonderful Comfort Suites, and apparently it's crap. So there we go. That is what it is. All right. So we do have a different segment that I've thought up that I want to pitch to you guys right here on the spot. We're going to call it 3 cheers or 3 jeers. So we're going to pick one moment from the last game. We're going to each get a 3 cheers one that we want to, what our biggest kudos goes to. And then we're going to do a 3 jeers, what our biggest thumbs down goes to. Even though it's a win and it was a good win, there's still some stuff we should talk about. So, Hoop, I'll leave it up to you. You want to do a positive first or negative?
Let's do negative first. That way we leave on a positive.
So 3 jeers, I'll start it off. Mine is the Bengals special teams. Mostly punt and punt return is where I'm going with this. And I will start off with Brad Robbins is trash. He is literally a dumpster fire at this point. He's going to at me, Brad Robbins. We can talk about this. You can be a guest on the show next week. It's fine. Defend yourself publicly on Talking Bengals. I am here for that. You're probably a wonderful human being, but, no one's paying you to be a nice person. They're paying you to punt the ball, and you're not doing a very good job at it. Second, Charlie Jones was fantastic at the beginning of the year with his punt returns. He had probably 60 yards or 70 yards total on his punt returns, running sideways. Run the ball straight. That's the only way you get punt return touchdowns is to run straight. Maybe one quick cut, but the longer you try to run outside, all 10 or 11 guys from the other team are going to flow right to you. You can't run sideways. You have to quickly get through them, find a hole and go. If you're going to run sideways, just do a fair catch. There's no point in even trying to run sideways. You have 3 steps sideways, then you have to go straight. And he was literally, let me just keep going. Let me stretch it. No, you're going to get pushed to the sideline or you're going to get crushed. So that's my jeer. Josh, what's yours?
I mean, it kind of has to be some form of the same thing.
Stole it for everybody.
Punting
I'm good. I got one.
Punting has been, it's just been a wreck. I mean, he's averaging league minimum. Like, he's the worst punter in the NFL right now. I can't say I can kick it any better. But when you're getting paid the kind of money they are, you better work to get better. It's not about kicking it 60 yards every time and hitting the end zone. Got to put it in the right spot, give your guys enough time to get down there to keep the kick returner from getting any yards at all. There's a real strategy to it. It just seems like when it comes to him, it's 35, 40 yards every single time, no matter where he is on the field, and that's it. So,
high school punter.
Yeah, kicking has been the worst part of this team. I would even go with just kicking in general. McPherson has been spotty, to say the least. 2 years ago, the Super Bowl year, you knew when he came out there, you had a chance from the first game, the Vikings game. You thought as soon as he hit that, it was going to be a good year. This year, he's missing routine kicks. He thought he missed the 45-yarder or whatever last week. He thought he missed that. So I don't know. There's something in his head. He just doesn't seem to have the same thing. So I would say just kicking in general has been a jeer for me. Go ahead, Hoop.
Yeah, I think McPherson's got something going on in his head. I think he's lost his confidence. Somebody needs to give him back his marbles.
Maybe Brad Robbins is rubbing off on him.
I hope not.
At me, Brad Robbins. At me.
I would have to say my jeers would be the untimely penalties. Trey Hendrickson knows better. The only reason why they were able to score an offensive touchdown on our defense was because Trey Hendrickson started it off.
Yeah.
He knows better. Just stop, hug the quarterback, and tell him he's playing good. I don't know. Tell him you love him. Whatever. Rub his back. Don't push him down. It's 3rd and long, and he just threw a terrible pass. There's no chance the guy was going to catch it. And you push him from behind and give him a first down. I mean, that was huge. If we wouldn't have came out in the second half and blew him away like we did, A lot of people would have been mad at Trey Hendrickson. But he did come out in the second half and redeem himself, and you totally redeem yourself. But anyway.
Waiting for it. I was hoping. I was like, please God, do it. If not, I'm going to have to.
60% of the time it works every time. But, but yeah, I mean, just untimely penalties all year long. We've been plagued with untimely penalties, just unnecessary penalties that are just, I think, a lot of mental mistakes. And I think if we were able to iron those out and not have those mental mistakes, I think there's a lot of games that we would have wound up winning throughout the year, not having those mental mistakes. So untimely penalties is my 3 cheers.
All right, so 3 cheers. We're going to go in reverse order. Hoop, you're back up again.
Yes, I love it. Jake Browning, 3 cheers. Okay. The man has came out to play. Screw everybody else. Jake Browning, he said, this is my time to shine, and he's freaking turning the lights on, man. He is gumming. I love it. The man has came out ready to play. He's taking advice from Burrow. He's studying the game films. He's running the scheme. He's doing exactly what Burrow would do on the field, just not being Burrow. I mean, Burrow has a different way of reading defenses, but Jake Browning's way is doing pretty darn good. You always heard the old adage, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I never really understood it, because why would you want to skin a cat? But but anyways, there's different ways of doing things, and Jake Browning's way isn't bad. Obviously, I mean, he beat Jacksonville, came out and beat Indianapolis while they were pretty hot. They were on a 3-game winning streak. So I mean, we beat them convincingly, and just like I said, 35-14. I was only off by a point, man. A point.
So close.
Every once in a while, I'm right. Okay, just let me be right for a second. Let me soak it in. But anyways, seriously though, Jake Browning's definitely 3 cheers, man. The guys came. He came to the show ready to play.
So to do a Paul Daniher Jr. real quick. So close. All right, that was a terrible impression, Paul. Paul, you can at me too. There you go.
It was uncanny. I thought you were Paul for a second.
I know. See, I'm coming for your job, Paul. Not really, no. I'd have no one to listen to. Anyways, go ahead, Josh.
I would say my cheers is going to mainly be with the coaching staff. I mean, I feel like they have done their best job since they got to Cincinnati. Ever since Burrow went down this year, it was either fold up the season and just get ready for the draft and hope you get a great draft pick. But I think they see this as an opportunity to show that they actually can save their jobs. Because if they did what they did, I mean, it's hard to say Burrow's first season was going to be, the defining moment of their careers, because you have this transcendent quarterback. He tears his ACL and MCL, and then your season goes to crap. I feel like this season they've had the experience that they needed. They've had the time to get used to their jobs and get better at them, and they have actually shown that they have took everything that they've learned from having Joe Burrow as their quarterback, and maybe the positives and negatives to having Joe Burrow as the quarterback, because maybe now we're going to learn playing out of the shotgun every other play isn't the way to do it. You got to go from center, run the ball from center, and I feel like this is going to be the biggest and best thing that's happened for the entire franchise, and maybe it's history. I mean, it might be a hot take to say that crap, but I mean, I feel like this is going to be what can turn them from a contender to a champion. If they can somehow get this team into the playoffs, or maybe even just on the fringe of the playoffs, this is going to be the best thing that could have happened since drafting Joe Burrow. So I'm going to say my cheers for the past 2 weeks is going to be on the coaching staff because they have shown that they can actually do a pretty daggone good job when they have to do it. So go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, my cheers echoes a little bit off of Nick's there, but it's the team resilience, but really specifically Jake Browning's resilience. To throw a pick six to tie the ball game right before halftime. A lot of backup quarterbacks, and we're still calling him a backup even though he's QB1 right now, that would have derailed them. They'd have been like, oh gosh, I'm not very good. This whole thing's crashing down on me. But the thing people forget about Jake Browning, he's not a kid. He's 27 years old. He's older than Joe Burrow. He just hasn't got his chance to shine, and he takes his preparation very seriously. He's prepared himself. He's learned what he's good at, what he's not good at. He understands what his game is. So as opposed to drafting some young guy and being like, yeah, he can be our backup, you have somebody who's very in touch with what they do well. And so you know what? Okay, mistakes happen. It could have been a perfect pass. Well, how many times have you seen a pick six hit a receiver in the hands, and then he drops it right into the defender's hands for a pick six? But for a lesser quarterback, that could have derailed him. Tanner Hudson, same way. That could have derailed the rest of his game. Like, oh, man, I can't believe I let that happen. He catches the ball. He scores a touchdown. So the team just doesn't seem to be letting things phase them. They're getting right back up. They're stepping right back up. Trey Hendrickson's another great example of resilience. Made a bonehead play. Could have cost the game if things didn't go well. So instead of just, pouting about his bad play, what did he do? He came back out and had one of the best halves of football you've ever seen him have. I mean, he was a menace. Strip sack or interception, strip sack, whatever you want to call it there. They kept going back and forth. It ended up being an interception, but, great sack other than that. And just fantastic. Resilience is what makes a great team. You can overcome a lot because you're going to fail. It's not quite the baseball analogy. We don't need to go back down that route for the millionth time. But in football, you're going to fail too. Even if you're the best wide receiver, the best defensive back, best quarterback, kicker, whoever it is, you're going to fail at your job at some point because that's what happens. There's no such thing as automatic. Something's going to happen to cause you to not perform at your top. The difference between a good player and a great player is being able to step back up and make it happen next time. So I think that was a fun segment. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that was a good.
I think you were trying to reference Rocky there. It's not how hard you get hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and then get back up.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, we'll
start doing a bunch of Rocky
every time I think about it. I love Rocky, man. Best movie series ever.
Well, that may be an idea for an off-season show. Maybe we'll do an all Rocky analogies to Bengals players and see how that goes.
Nice.
Maybe just anything.
Yo, Adrian.
Do a Rambo one too. Yeah, just go all Stallone movies.
Well, you can't leave out the Expendables.
That'd be a good one to quote in there as well. So, as we're talking about great acting or terrible acting in other cases, let's go into Patrick Mahomes being the league's biggest crybaby. And I've tried not to pick on the Chiefs recently because, they donate a lot of money to Joe Burrow's charity and stuff. So thank you to the Chiefs Kingdom or whatever, the different groups there. But, okay, Patrick Mahomes complaining about a bad call. There's so many analogies, but I can't think of a PG one right now. So if you guys have one, let me know. But basically, you're complaining that a call cost you a game when just the week before the Packers guy hit you in bounds. In bounds. He wasn't even out of bounds and got a 15-yard penalty. Joseph Osai, you can't call it at that point in the game. Who calls a late hit one step out of bounds in the AFC Championship game? You didn't complain about that penalty. And what really ticked me off, two things about the whole thing. I'll let somebody else go on it for a little bit. One, why did you say that to Josh Allen? He doesn't give a crap. He just beat you. Yeah, he doesn't want to hear about, oh, man, we just got screwed by the refs after you beat him like twice in playoffs. He doesn't give a crap. He's just happy he beat you. Just good game is all you need to say there. Be a compassionate competitor. Good game and walk off. Two, how old is Patrick Mahomes? I honestly don't know. I've not looked it up. I probably should.
6?
Yeah, somewhere in his mid to late 20s. Old enough to understand everybody gets mad. I get mad. You get mad. Hoop gets mad. Everybody's mad. Doesn't matter who gets mad.
I don't get mad. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you can have an emotional reaction. That's Every human being does. So being ticked off on the sideline, throwing your helmet, is that great? No, but you're human. Everybody makes mistakes. But you're telling me in the 20 minutes or 25 minutes after the game, in between going into the locker room and doing his press conference, he couldn't have some maturity and come back out and say, hey, guys, sorry about that. I'm a competitor. It's the heat of the moment. I didn't agree with the call, but it is what it is. That's just football. And just shrug it off and, go that way. But to be like, you can't make that call at that point in the game. It's a penalty. You call that, and that's not even a judgment call penalty. It's not like pass interference or holding where it could go 50-50. You're either onside or offside. You can't be both. There's no, it's objective. It is what it is. There's no, well, maybe his hands were moving, or pass interference is always the most subjective one there. Well, maybe he pushed off, maybe he grabbed him. Sure, whatever. Sometimes it's called, sometimes it's not. But when your foot is past the football, you're offside. There's no argument there. Somebody take it away.
All right, I'm going to take away because I did a little research. According to Wikipedia, which is a great resource, always accurate, never fails, right? Anything on the internet's accurate. So we're just going to trust it. According to them, he's 28, and he's been in the league for 6-7 years,
something like that.
So I mean, when you're looking at somebody who's been in the league for more than a couple years, they're approaching 30. You would assume that there's going to be some form of maturity about it. Understand that you're going to get bad calls. You're going to get calls you don't like. But also maybe have some, self-reflection to look back at the games that you played where, you wouldn't have been in the Super Bowl had you not gotten a late hit penalty where you're a running quarterback. And just to make sure you're actually going out of bounds, somebody actually hits you. And, you get a late hit penalty for that. The week before, you got the same call, except for it was even worse of a call because you were actually still inbounds, your whole body, feet, and everything, and you're a running quarterback, known to juke people out to stay inbounds, then continue to run. And then you want to sit there and cry like a baby, throw your helmet. Who does that? What a prima donna. You want to sit there and at me, Pat Mahomes. Seriously.
Do it.
I mean,
and Taylor Swift.
Travis Kelce's the one who got screwed out of most of all of that.
Yeah.
And you don't see Travis Kelce posted all over social media and all over the ESPN and all that crap about all the stuff that he did. Travis Kelce lined back up. I respect to Travis Kelce for that. All right. I will say his podcast, him and Jason are pretty funny. I have watched some clips. They're pretty good. But anyways, back to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, what a crybaby. If he was supposed to be the leader on my team, Casey, we would have tore him apart.
Oh, yeah.
On any of the teams that we were on, I mean, especially the guys that I played baseball with through high school and into college, we would have tore that guy apart. Being a crybaby like that because things didn't go your way, okay, go cry me a river and build me a bridge to get over it. I mean, I'm not allowed to say the rest of it. But anyways, but I mean, seriously, come on. I mean, you're taught at an early age in sports, you're not going to get every call that you want. You're not going to get, you're going to get some calls against you that you don't like. It's going to happen. But when you have video proof that your guy is literally, not only his foot is over the line, his head is over the ball, his shoulders are almost over the ball. He was lined up so far off sides that if they didn't call it, the entire league would have known that the NFL is rigged. The entire world would have known that the NFL is rigged. For certain, for Patrick Mahomes. All right? It's already talked about because of all the calls he's gotten just to get him to the spot that he's at right now. I mean, let's just be honest. You don't get those calls. I mean, heck, they won the Super Bowl last year because of a stupid freaking call. It was a terrible call. Even the announcers were like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know about that one. That's pretty bad, right? And winds up winning them the Super Bowl. I mean, you don't even win an AFC championship. You don't win a Super Bowl. Same year, back-to-back games where you get calls for you at the end of the game that decide the outcome of the game. And then you want to go cry like a baby on a regular season ball game where you're already winning at the point where you know that you're going to be in the playoffs at the end of the season. All you pretty much have to do is skate the rest of the year by, and you're in the playoffs because the rest of your division sucks so bad. I mean, come on.
The Broncos are okay. They might make a chance.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, back to something serious. Back to some serious
The Broncos hate
football.
there.
No, I love the Broncos. Like they've always been my second team growing up. If it wasn't for the Bengals being so bad, I would never liked another team through the 90s. I really liked Terrell Davis growing up. Shoot me, whatever. He was a great running back. He really loved his offensive line and really gave them a lot of credit. He was a great running back in my mind. Anyways, back to Patrick Mahomes, the crybaby. I mean, come on. If my son ever acted like that, who's 7, I would have dragged him off the field. I would have been embarrassed to be his father, knowing that people are going to see him, not even on national TV, just a normal, everyday peewee football game. That's embarrassing, as a father. I can only imagine how his dad feels watching his son cry on national television for everybody to see about some call that he didn't like that was actually finally a fair call. Josh, I could go on about this. You take it over.
You had to keep beating a dead horse here, Josh, after Nick totally killed and shot it 5 or 6 more times. Just keep going.
I already said the eulogy. Let's
well,
keep
I
going.
think I have kind of a different angle to it.
Let's hear it.
So, yeah, everyone knows that was the correct call. I mean, every analyst has gone through it and said, yeah, he was obviously over the line. Correct call. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is being a crybaby. But I guess he had to go from I'm just kind of trying to put my Patrick Mahomes shoes on, my Patty Mahomes hat. Maybe he would rather try to put the spotlight on the refs instead of telling Kadarius Toney, dude, you suck. You can't catch the ball. You're costing us games. Maybe that's his. I'm trying to make it seem kind of reasonable, but yeah,
Announcers took that over, Josh. I mean, I don't.
It's a bad look. I mean, you got to look at everybody that surrounds Patrick Mahomes. He is surrounded by people that are not quite the best role models. I mean, I've never been a fan of his simply because of the people that he surrounds himself with. It's not football. It's everything else. It's between his brother and all of the antics that he gets into trying to get restaurants shut down because they didn't want to serve his 15 friends when they're packed and about to close. It's basically just the apologeticness that he has towards all of that stuff. I've just never been a fan of his for that reason. And then he goes and does something like this. It reminds me of Dak Prescott blaming the ref for their playoff loss 2 years ago. You get the ball in your hands. You have a chance to win the game. If you can't do it, don't blame the refs. Every game, there's going to be calls that either go your way or go the other way. The refs don't determine the games. You do. If you make a pass or if you can get the ball, run the ball, you determine who wins. So to blame anybody else, that's childish. Maybe he was just trying to say, you know what, Kadarius Toney, I could either say you suck and I don't want to ever see you again, Or I can say the refs suck and it's all their fault. I don't know. But I guess, yeah, the refs do suck. Kadarius Toney sucks. Patrick Mahomes is a crybaby. Let's just move on past it.
Yeah, I think we've killed that one. Just a quick jab at Andy Reid, too. He's a crybaby as well. Anyways.
Hey, Andy Reid did come out and apologize. He said that it was the right call, but it's just so weird because typically before that call is made, the refs talk to him about it and they have a conversation about it because you have enough time to talk about it during a ball game.
Yeah, sure. You know, I get Pee Wee ball, sure. You know, the ref could be a nice guy. I'm like, hey, guy, you may want to line up on the line. When you're making millions of dollars, you don't really need another adult. You don't need an adultier adult to tell you where the line is. That's not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
At that point in your life, you should know where the line of scrimmage is.
I would sure hope so.
I think if first and second graders can do it, you can do it. I promise.
All right, well, let's move back into just Bengals oriented stuff here. I think we've killed Patrick Mahomes topic enough here, but let's look forward to the Vikings game. So the Vikings just played an abysmal game to watch if you like scoring. Is 3-0 win. That was just ugly. I didn't watch much of it. I saw some of the highlights and the highlight, I guess, is what you'd say at that point. There wasn't a whole lot going on.
Was that the field?
Yeah, it was just a kick.
Yeah, that was it. That was just the kick. There was nothing else. But I'm kind of disappointed that Josh Dobbs got benched because we could have had a chance to beat the same quarterback twice in 1 year who played for two different teams in two totally different divisions. That could have been kind of cool. And he might still play. Who knows? But the Vikings are a defensive juggernaut. That's what's keeping them alive is their defense is fantastic. And the offense, I forget the guy that's playing quarterback for him right now. I had literally never heard his name. I'd have to look it up again. So if somebody's got their computer ready while I'm pontificating, look him up because I forgot his name because it was very forgettable. Justin Jefferson, very well, will be out. What's the point of making him play when he just came off an injury and now he's back injured again? They probably won't rush him back in a 6-day week. But the defense is what you have to worry about with the Vikings. And, when one of you guys has the name of this quarterback, just go ahead and shout it out, and then we'll move into
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, who is that? Where did he play? Who knows? Did he play before? Where?
I think he's a rookie.
Well, yeah, where did he play in college, though?
Oh, I don't know.
Good gosh, Josh. When you got to get good stats if you're going to be the color guy. You got to have it ready to roll.
I was just giving you you just asked for a name, so I just gave you what you asked for.
So all we're going to say is, Burns is fired. Yeah, Burns is fired because this is usually he comes in with the random information that he has pulled up on his phone. So Burns, when you hear this one, you're fired. And then you're rehired because we can't do the show without you. Anyways, back to live action here. So looking at that game, if the Bengals can get up on the Vikings, it's over. If you get out to another 14-0 lead, I don't think there's even a chance that the Vikings come back. But that being said, if you get into a slugfest and you let them start pressuring you, Browning, it could get real ugly real fast. So, Hoop, let's hear all this wonderful information you just Googled.
All right. So Nicholas Clayton Mullins, born in March of 1995, is an American football quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings of the NFL. He played college football for Southern Miss Gold Eagles, where he surpassed Brett Favre's single-season school records for passing yardage and touchdown passes. He was signed by San Fran as an undrafted free agent out of college, and he's also played for the Cleveland Browns. So that tells me everything I need to know about him. He played for the Browns.
We hate him already.
I already don't like the guy. But all in all, he's an unproven quarterback, same age as Patrick Mahomes. My thing is like we just have to get pressure on him like what we did this past week in Indy against Indy. Just keep on getting pressure on him. He's going to make mistakes. Our defense will come up big with turnovers like they do. With Logan Wilson, Mike Hilton with a couple sacks off the edge on some blitzes that he has. And I think we'll be fine on defense if we do that. I think you do bring up a good point, Casey, making sure that we don't make it a slugfest, make it a low-scoring game, because I think the Vikings defense is definitely going to be something that we're going to have to worry about. If we can establish the run game, get 3-4 yards a run, and just beat the living crap out of them. Old school AFC North football. And then once we've established that run game on a 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, do a play action pass, Jamar Chase down the field, touchdown. T. Higgins down a seam route, touchdown. I mean, it's plain and simple. It's plain and simple, easy. That's easy football. A high school offensive coordinator can run that. So I mean, when you're looking at the way that Zach Taylor and was it Brian Callahan, our offensive coordinator, the way that they've been able to run the offense the past couple of weeks, I think continue that same game plan. Don't show the whole offensive playbook at the beginning. The first couple quarters, and then make sure we get up, stay up. Tanner Hudson, please, if you can't catch it, hit the ball to the ground. It's the only mistake the guy made all game. Unfortunately, it cost 6 points, and then 8, and then the extra 2 points that the defense allowed. But defense allowed 8 points all game. I'll take it, especially when you have Jake Browning, scoring, 30-plus points. But anyways, yeah, looking into the Vikings game, I think that we do have a good outlook. I think we have a high-powered offense. We have at least 2 wide receiver ones. And then we have Tyler Boyd, Trent Irwin. We have 3 tight ends who can catch and run afterwards. We have Chase Brown who can come out of the backfield on the screens, on a dump pass. And next thing you know, he's in the end zone. Joe Mixon, he's been Mr. Consistent all year. In my opinion, Joe Mixon, as soon as he gets the ball, pretty much he's going to get at least 3 or 4 yards every time, at least, right? And he's going to fight for every inch. He's going to run hard. Honestly, Joe Mixon, seriously, add us. I would love to have you on this podcast. I've been loving on you all year long, man. Love to have you on here. But seriously, Joe Mixon's a freaking workhorse. Love the man. Anyways, on the football field, I don't know about his personal life. I'll leave his personal life for the people who are around him to know him. But anyways, football-wise, Joe Mixon, workhorse. Love the guy on the football field. I love the way he plays hard. Chase Brown, I love the way he runs with his knowledge. I just think keeping on that play, keeping balanced, keeping that run and pass balanced, and keeping the defense off guard, catching them off guard for everything. I think we'll be fine.
Josh.
Yeah, I would say it's going to come down to the running game to begin with. You got to keep the pressure on them from the beginning. Run it often and wear down the defense. The more you run the ball, the softer the defense is going to get, because they're going to keep trying to come up and stop the run. So that's going to open up the play action. That's going to open up more of what Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Trenton Irwin. Heck, it's even going to get I always call him Houston for whatever stupid reason, but it's Hudson. Hudson, I think, he's emerged as a tight end number 1. He's been the most dynamic tight end. He's got the hot hand. Keep him going. But keep handing the ball off. The 2-headed running back room with Joe Mixon and Chase Brown. Keep them going. You never know. Maybe they'll try to get Chris Evans in there. I love Chris Evans. I don't know why they haven't given him a chance. He is a pass-catching running back. He's got the speed. He's got the route running, and he always catches touchdowns. That's all he does is catch touchdowns. So
I'm just going to ask, is Chris Evans even on the roster?
Yes, I think he's at 4.
He was on the roster. For all we know, I think he makes tackles occasionally on special teams.
Yeah, plays more special
He's
teams
there.
than anything. I think he's
That's
like
about
running
it.
back 4. He's still behind
4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Who would be 4?
Anybody else on the roster? That's how they feel about him.
Yeah, they just don't like him. I don't know why.
Drew Sample's running back number 4.
Fullback, running back.
He does come in as a blocking back. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know?
And it is nice to see the fullback position by tight end. I do like it. I've been wanting to see them use some sort of fullback. They're finally doing it. They're starting to open up the playbook, and that's what they need. So I think that's going to be the key to the game. Defense is always one of the more opportunistic defenses in the whole league. They look for the big play on defense. They look for the turnover. Hendrickson, he's just been an absolute monster all season. I mean, he's up towards the top in tackle or sacks. He's had a couple strip sacks. He has been the best defensive player, I think, that we have had. Just because of, even if he's not hitting the quarterback, stacking the quarterback, he's getting in there and pressuring the quarterback. He's making them feel him on his tail. So I think he's got the hot hand on defense. Keep the pressure coming there. Maybe mix in Hilton. Hilton's always good pressuring the quarterback. But the key is going to be running the ball. So keep Chase Brown going. He has got the explosiveness, and I think that's going to open up the passing game. So
I cannot agree more.
Casey.
Well, we have really pontificated on this one. It's been a fantastic episode. I think it's about time to wrap it up. So we're going to do closing thoughts and score predictions all in one shot here. So we're going to go reverse order. So Josh.
Reverse order. All right. I'm going to say it's going to be a Bengals blowout. I'm going to say Bengals 35. The much maligned Vikings offense is going to get 6. 35-6. I think they're just going to keep tossing them touchdowns. Jamar Chase is going to have a monster day. Go ahead, Hoop.
So let's just cover our bases here. I think my final thoughts is that Jake Browning is going to go off. I think he's going to hit 8 to 9 receivers first half, each receiver averaging 20 to 30 yards. And then just cruising the rest of the game. I think Jake Browning's going to go over 400 yards passing.
Jake
Okay. I'm okay. I was pretty correct this past week. You know, I'm shooting for 2 in a row here. All right, 2 in a row here. Trying to get onto a winning streak. But I think I'm on the same boat that Josh is. I think it's going to be a little bit bigger though. I think it's going to be like 42 to 9. They're going to score 6 touchdowns. At least 1 or 2 of those are going to be defensive with the new that new quarterback coming in.
Man, y'all are going bold. I like it. I do like it.
To lose, Casey. You better pick them to lose.
I picked them to win last week.
Oh.
Yeah, it worked out well. I'm not quite as optimistic as you guys are. But before we get into that, final thoughts. Don't be a crybaby. That's number 1. Always be resilient. And the name of this episode, it did come to me in the middle of it, so we're back to getting good stuff there. It's going to be Who Day, baby. But anyways, at me. Because that's what we kept saying this entire show.
At me, bro.
Yeah, at me, bro. We're basically,
bro.
Or it might end up being at me, talking Bengals versus everybody. I don't know. We're just out here making enemies left and right. Gonna be the most hated
So
podcast.
mid. I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. I was about to say, whatever you
I just heard
said,
it on the
sure.
street somewhere.
Oh gosh, we're old. Anyways, getting to my score prediction.
Darn kids.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think, just because that Vikings defense is going to keep it close. They may have a takeaway or two of their own, but I still think the Bengals are going to pull this one out. I'm going with 23-13. It's going to be closer than we want, just because that's what happens to the Bengals. You're like, all right, we're on a high streak. Everything's going well. We're going to win. I don't think they're going to lose this game, but I don't think it's going to be a grinded out kind of game. They're going to have to figure things out. Every break's not going to go their way, and it's not going to be easy. But it should be fun to watch.
Really bring us down for the last comment of the episode. Really
Trying to be positive and think that they're going to kill him, but you think it's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, at me, bro.
All right, I will add you. I will troll all your stuff. It's fine. Ask Burns about how much I control people's stuff. Ask him about that.
Hey, I do want to say though, before the episode's over here, this is a great opportunity to ask you guys to please do follow us at our other accounts with Twitter, Instagram. Follow us on our podcast on all the podcast channels that we are able to send out our podcast on. Being able to follow us on YouTube does allow us to be able to have a live show so we can get more engagement with you guys. So please follow us on YouTube, help us out, so that way we can help you guys be engaged with us.
Like our motto says, we are the voice of the fan. We're here to give you guys an outlet, make comments, always comment on the Who Day history. We'll read them out when you get to those for us as we get back to it next week. I was a bummer this week traveling for work, but I'll get right back on it. But I'm looking forward to some Saturday football and not having to stress about anything on Sunday. So that'll be nice. And Who Day.
Hey, baby.